One of the biggest problems that we've got in this country is the way that we're being successfully divided between religious, cultural, and economic lines. Things that should be actually unifying have been used as a wedge to turn fellow man against fellow man, brother against sister, father against son, mother against daughter. Very successfully, by the way, and they've done an extremely good job. But I think the reason that this has been so successful is because of the years and years, decades even, of allowing these people to enter into our country, enter into our politics, divide our opinion using their own agendas, which they openly talk about behind your back, never to your face. But it's there on camera, everyone can go watch them. These things are real, these things are happening. Now, again, the biggest problem that we've got is we're allowing them to do this. We're not unifying together with a common message and a common goal. We seem to be falling for the rhetoric. This happens in many different ways. You've got the trans alliance versus the religious. You've got the Palestinians versus the Israelites. You've got the Ukraine versus Russia war. Every single problem that's happening in the world right now has been divvied up to include polar opposite sides. And those sides have garnered support within our country in particular that has meant that people are starting to hate each other. People that should be working with each other are finding themselves on the different side, shouting and screaming and scratching and biting, while the people that are doing this and fomenting this unrest, they're just sat back, laughing, as we tear ourselves apart.
If raising legitimate concerns about thousands and thousands of unchecked foreign males illegally entering our country makes me far right, then so be it.
Now, we've all seen the meme, it's right there. The foreigners come into our country and they find ways in which they can divide us. That's a very often used tactic, okay? This is ramping up recently to a really extreme level, and we're seeing constant messages come out saying that we are the bad people, they are the good people, even though they're committing horrible crimes against us. We're the hateful ones and they're the just ones. They are the tolerant ones, they're the ones that promote peace, again, while they go after our children and do unspeakable things. The message from them and the message that is adopted by those that also mean us ill well on our side, the message that they adopt is that we need to listen to them and we need to stop listening to the people that really want to protect us.
Yes, Ireland is full. It is full of hate mongers, full of angry people that make noise and are angry at immigrants, and full of people waving the Irish tricolour as if it stands for exclusion and racism. Let's be clear, the Irish flag, Irish tricolour, stands for peace, unity and respect, not for bullying people on the streets. And Ireland's population is not full. We are still 2 million people less than 150 years ago. And no, Ireland is not full of immigrants. It is full of people who have forgotten their history, people who scream, "Go home," while forgetting their own ancestors left Ireland to seek refuge in other countries. The truth is, Ireland still has room for compassion, room for justice, and room for people who want to build this nation, not divide. So if you're really worried about Ireland being full, ask yourself, what is Ireland really full of? Full of too many immigrants or too many people twisting Irish pride into prejudice?
Yes, the very people from these backwards ideologies, these third world countries that don't integrate at all into your countries, our countries. They create ghettos, they install their mosques, they create their own legal system with Sharia law. They openly say that they don't want tolerance, they don't want integration, but not to your face. They're the ones telling you that you need to be more tolerant.
Very simple. No integration, no multiculturalism, no diversity, no tolerance.
Meanwhile, they're being integrated into our political system. The Green Party have openly adopted an Islamist that screams Palestine first.
Raise the voice of Palestine! Allahu Akbar!
Something about doing something to the Jews with a river and a sea. We've all heard the chants. But you're the intolerant one. You're the one that needs to change to adopt their principles and their values. And unfortunately, it's not just them. It's not just the foreigners. We've also got people who are supposed to be on our side, people that claim to be British, people that claim to be patriotic. And yet they seem to have the same kind of messaging, the same kind of division, stirring the pot against the British and against your families, my families, and our future.
Britain isn't this, it's this. Our island has been home to a changing people for 1,000 years. Nigel Farage's politicians say they don't want to see black or Asian faces on TV. But black and Asian people fought side by side with my great-grandfather to help us defeat fascism in our country's finest hour. Together, from the ashes of war, we built our NHS, and with it, modern Britain. There have always been those who opposed Britain's character, but this country has only progressed because those people didn't win. We chose progress over prejudice, diversity over division, and hope over hate.
Britain built the past, and together we are going to build the future.
Yeah, I find it very interesting that they said Britain isn't this, it's this. A shithole with a foreign family. That to me doesn't sound like the kind of person that I want to follow. It doesn't sound like an Englishman, to be honest. It didn't sound like the kind of person that I want to put my faith in. It sounds like a person creating division and using racial tension, using sectarianism to get votes.
Stop that.
That's all they want, guys. They want votes. They want power. They're going to get it anywhere they want. They're going to use these people as those people use them against you. Because the last thing they need right now is for a resurgence in British spirit, in British pride, in British identity. And I say British because I don't care what anyone says in the comments or online. You cannot be British unless you're English, Scottish, Northern Irish, or Welsh. And you can't be those things unless you are born those things. It comes from blood and soil, guys. You cannot just be given a passport and be given the same identity as people that have lived here for thousands of years. And then we see these very same people, the ones that are telling you that actually flying a foreign flag is part of inclusion and part of diversity and is your strength, lose their fucking mind when you fly these flags. No, that's too much. That's too much for people like this. That's too much for people like that who really, I think, hate their own country. Who really just, when they say it's divisive, when they say it's exclusionary, and that's some kind of a problem because we're flying our flag, I think what they're doing there is a very targeted play on people's emotions. They want you to feel ashamed of your flag. They want you to feel ashamed to be patriotic. They want you to willingly give up your country to a bunch of foreigners. Meanwhile, this is fine. Flying a foreign flag in British Parliament, outside mayoral offices or council buildings, that's fine. It's fine when they do it. It's just not fine when you do it, because for some reason, you have to shut up and take it. I'm not okay with that. And I'll tell you why. Because that goes to the extreme without them ever putting the brakes on, because they're disingenuous, guys. When you see this, right, happening in the UK, people raising the Palestine flag, which they're doing for a reason. It doesn't just mean Palestine, guys, it means Islam. When they're doing that and saying that Jewish football players and Jewish football fans are not welcome in the UK, they're doing this with a football club in particular, to create a flashpoint, a moment of division that cannot be healed. They're doing this with popular franchises. I think that's why most of the Arab states are buying up English clubs, so they can start creating a divided fan base that hates each other within their own football club. English football clubs, one of the most unifying aspects of this country, one of the few things that actually brings all groups of people together, is now being used as a sectarian tool to divide us, to create strife, to create anger. This can't be an accident, guys. But if an English person mentions this, well, you're a racist. If you mention that they shouldn't be doing this, and that they have no right to do this, and they shouldn't be here in the first place, you're labelled as a racist, an Islamophobe, as a xenophobe. In fact, they have every right to be here, guys, because they're just as British as you. They hold a piece of paper. They've been here for a few weeks. Therefore, your 1,000-year lineage, that doesn't mean anything. Your right to this land, it's gone. And again, you're not allowed to say anything about this because you'll be called the bad guy. You'll be called the person that has a problem with diversity. The very people that are causing division, the very people that are stoking sectarianism, the very people that you would otherwise call evil, they're the ones that seem to have the moral high ground. And it's not just normal people in the streets, it's the rich people like Gary Neville or like Jamie Carragher who are the problem as well. And for other reasons, by the way. It's not just that they will call you a racist and say that it's angry white men that are the problem. Listen to this.
I like Keir Starmer. I'm well aware it's not easy, as I said before, to be the Prime Minister. A lot of, the press in this country is right-wing, so it's not easy to get the press on side.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise that the press in the UK was so right-wing. I had no idea. With all the left-wing fucking talking points, the left-wing commentators, the left-wing pundits, the people telling us that we should not listen to anyone that wants anything to do with British pride. I'm sorry, Jamie Carragher, have you been watching a completely different press your entire life? I didn't realise that you're a fucking idiot. Oh wait, yeah, I did, sorry. Everyone did. You spit on children, for Christ's sake, don't you? Spit on children.
Either, but I think he handles himself really well. He handles the PMQs really well. Never looks too flustered. As I said, it can't be easy.
Well, it is very easy, actually, to not be flustered in PMQs when you openly lie to people and gaslight the public. When you have 10 election pledges and you don't fulfil a single one. When you have no mandate for digital IDs, but you push them through anyway against the nation's will. When you say that you're going to reduce mass immigration, but in fact, you increase it. It's very easy not to look flustered when you're a lying psychopath, Jamie. By the way, Keir Starmer's the most unpopular Prime Minister in British history, probably world history, and yet Jamie Carragher really likes him. Jamie Carragher wants to suck his dick. Jamie Carragher also goes to Davos.
Let us just ask you quickly, you have to choose now between Davos or Westminster?
Davos.
But certainly from my point of view and where I'm coming from in Liverpool, the legislation that got passed around Hillsborough Law, absolutely delighted with that.
So if Andy Burnham did throw his hat in the ring, you'd be supportive of that?
I will be supportive of anybody who leads the Labour Party because, as I've stated publicly before, I'm not a huge political fan. It's not what I'm. It's certainly not my strength. But where I come from, we vote Labour, and that'll always be the case. So if it's Keir Starmer, I will vote for Keir Starmer. If it's Andy Burnham, I'll vote for Andy Burnham. And if it's Wes Street, and I'll vote for him, or whoever it could be.
So not only have we been invaded by millions of people that shouldn't be here, and there's no other word for it, but we've allowed them into our politics, using sectarianism to divide us, using racial politics to divide us, using malicious altruism to try and persuade us, using our guilt to give up our country willingly. But we've also got people that will vote for a badge, a political party. Doesn't matter who's running that party. It could be Andy Burnham, or it could be the most radical Muslim you've ever seen. Jamie Carragher's still going to vote for him. So we've got people on every side that are failing the British people. We've got the rich that go to Davos and believe in the weird globalism that Keir Starmer is so fond of. We've got people on the left that have been manipulated into suicidal empathy by the very people that are coming here using taqiyya and other forms of subversion to convince you that you're a bad person, that your views are bad, that your flag is bad. And in fact, if you just disagree with them in any single way, if you point out that they do horrific things to children and that they're disproportionately more likely to harm you, that's also bad. We have people constantly telling us that our viewpoints do not matter, that the English identity does not matter. And like I said, we've got these idiots going around saying that they will vote for these people, these parties that are doing harm to this country, no matter what. Like blind sheep. Or people that mean this country ill. You see, the problem is, guys, that we have people that claim to be on the right. And I've mentioned a few of these on the channel. I've lost a lot of supporters for calling these people out, for saying that Britishness means everything and everyone apart from white people. I've had a lot of people criticize me for this, but they're their own words, and I will continue to bring them up because I think there's a dividing point happening right now. We've got the people that mean us ill, right? They're open about it. They're completely honest about it. They'll raise their flags. They'll call you a racist, a xenophobe, everything like that. But then we've got the people on the right, or supposedly on the right, that claim to be for the patriots, that claim to be for the country. But really what they're doing is they're dangling down hope just out of arm's reach. And every time you reach for it, they pull it back and say, whoa, 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 that's not for you, son. This is a diverse country with diverse people. If you were born here last week, you're just as British as me. And if you even dare say that's not true, again, you're part of the problem and you're the bad guy. This idea that we're allowing these subversive influences to control our politics is, for me, beyond the pale. And if you agree with these people and you get sucked into their narrative, then you actually become part of the problem. I have seen Sikhs say that they will never be English. I have seen people from China say, I will never be English. It is impossible. I know where I come from. I support the English. I want them to have their country back. And if that means that I have to go home, I will go home. These are the normal ones. These are the rational ones. These are the ones that would do the same in their country. So if you are on the other side saying, actually, doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what you believe in, doesn't matter what your God is, doesn't matter what your intentions are, this is your country as well. Well, you're part of the problem, and it's time to wake up to face that. Because very, very soon, guys, the patience on the real right is going to run out.
I just want a Britain where British people are put first. And that's it. Just British people are put first. Who are those British people? It's not white people, it's British people. Right. Does it include me? Of course it includes you, yeah. Does it include Muslim? Of course it includes Muslim.
Fuck off, back to where you came from. Anglo-Saxon England.
Well, I say that the English have been kind enough, respectful enough, patient enough, for long enough. I say love your country. I say love England.